Someone has put a little tissue packet on the table. It means that they've got that table. Food, things to do, and just little tips. My mouth is literally watering. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I've got my little notepad ready for this video. But today I was watching my vlog on Singapore and I just miss it so much. Singapore is probably my favorite place that I've traveled to so far. It just was like so much fun. I felt safe. It was such a good time and there was so many amazing things to do. We ended up spending 5 days there when we went, but I wanted to create a video for anyone that is traveling to Singapore. Should I come closer? And I'm so excited for you. You are about to have literally the best time ever. So I've got 3 categories that I want to break this video into. We've got food, things to do, and just little tips. Firstly, I will start off though saying that we stayed at the Village Hotel Bugis, which was great. We had no issues. Everything was really, really good. We went for my birthday. They even brought me up a little cake to my room, which was so cute. And it was in an area where the nightlife was really great. So in that Bugis sort of area is where the nightlife really pops off in terms of like restaurants and just busyness. So let's break it down with my first category, which is food. I'm gonna give you guys the list. My first one is in that area, Bugis, there's Haji Lane, and that is amazing at night. It's like one massive street and it's just full of different restaurants that you can choose from. I don't know the name of it, but we spent the first night at a Mexican restaurant, which was at the very end of the street. But Haji Lane has so many different options, so many different cuisines. You guys will definitely find a spot to eat. And there's lanes on either side of Haji Lane as well. I think one from memory was like Bali Lane, and I can't remember the other one, but they all had restaurants on them, so you will have no troubles finding somewhere to eat here. Breakfast, I've got a place called Early Bird and also a place called The Ritual. The Early Bird was closer to where we were staying, and The Ritual we just took an MRT to, which wasn't any issues at all, but both were very delicious for breakfast. This is like a little fast food situation. Shake Shack, we don't have Shake Shack in Australia, so for us it was super exciting to have Shake Shack, and my husband personally loved it, especially the custard milkshakes. So we did eat at Shake Shack and it was delicious. And if it's something quick and easy, if you guys are looking for something on the go while you're walking around. My next is of course the hawker centers. If you guys are going to Singapore, you need, and I mean need, to check out the hawker centers. They are the heart of Singapore and they're just basically like, it's almost like it's street food. So you go and there's all different like carts or stalls set up, and they all have their own like number. It's all different like Singaporean dishes or different cuisines, completely different. And there's so many around Singapore. The ones that we visited were the Maxwell Food Center, and we had a really positive experience here. We got the chicken and we got a few different dishes that we found on YouTube, and we ended up sitting with a couple, or I think it was a couple, or a son and a mum, I'm not sure. John thought it was a mother and son, I thought it was a couple, and we sat with them when we were having our food because the hawker centers can fill up very fast. And just a little tip as well, if someone has put a little tissue packet on the table, it means that they've got that table, so you can't sit there. So just keep an eye out for the little tissues. But we sat with them and they were so lovely, and we were talking with them, and then they ended up leaving and they came back with a whole bunch of food and they wanted us to try it, and because it was like some of the traditional dishes that they always had, so we tried them and they were great, and some that we didn't like, but like it was just really lovely and very nice of them to do that for us. And our other favorite one was the Newton Food Center, and this one is where we got the Singapore crab, and it was at stall number 27, and this was the best Singapore crab. It was so delicious, and it's a little bit on the pricey end for a hawker center, but like still in comparison to getting a chili crab like at a restaurant or anywhere else, it was still reasonably priced, and it was so good. Like me and my husband still talk about it to this day, and we're like, we miss Singapore crab, we want to go back and get it. And like just the sauce it was in, it was so good. So my mouth is literally watering. So if you go there, make sure you go to number 27 at the Newton Food Center. Next, we're going into a cafe out in Chinatown, and this is cool. You've probably heard of it. It's called Cafe Monochrome, and the whole cafe is black and white. It's like almost 2D, like as if someone has drawn it. So if you are interested in that and checking it out, it was really cool to see, and they also had really nice food. My next one is for a dinner, which was called St. Mark. We actually found this restaurant by accident because on the first night we got a little bit lost and couldn't find our hotel, and our phones weren't working, so we ended up walking into that restaurant and just asking for help, and they were so helpful and helped us find our hotel. And so we went back the following evening or a couple nights after to have dinner, and they did recognize us, which was so funny. But we had dinner there, and it was honestly one of the best dinners I've ever had in my life, period. We had these chicken wings. John had like a black ink pasta, and I had a ramen, and it was so good. So definitely check out St. Mark. For a more fancier style dinner, we ended up going to C'est La Vie, which is the restaurant that is at the top of Marina Bay Sands. This was for my birthday dinner. It was something a little bit more decadent. It was really cute. I wish we had a better view though, because it was ended up storming that night, so we didn't have the view of like the outside area, and we couldn't go outside. But still, nevertheless, they made me feel super special on my birthday, brought out like a dessert, like free of charge little thing, and the waiter was amazing, and we had a really good time. So overall, we had a really lovely time at C'est La Vie. Next are a couple of ones that we got on our way out. One is a Singapore breakfast dish called Kaya Toast. I don't know if it's even breakfast. I feel like you could have it at any time, to be honest, but we loved it. It sounds like not really nice, like it's like 2 eggs, not soggy eggs, but like not like fried or anything. They're like ready to eat. Put soy sauce in it with like this coconut jam on toast and butter, and you dip that toast in the egg and soy sauce, and it's so good. And it comes with like coffee with condensed milk. And I know it sounds, but it's so good, and you have to try it. Like, you're in Singapore, so just go and try it. And yeah, that was at Kaya Toast, and it's the like Kaya Toast combo deal that they have. And then my last recommendation for food is, I'm gonna butcher this name, but I think it's Sutta noodles. It's Tsuta noodles, and this is at the airport. We've been there twice now, the first time and the second time, and they have amazing food. The ramen, I think it's a Michelin star one as well, but it's still reasonably priced, and it's delicious. So they are my food recommendations. We're jumping into our next category now, which is things to do. And my first one, of course, is the Jewel at the airport. It is, I can't even tell you, it's a must-see. Do not skip it. You need to go. Okay, so it's beautiful, and you can just, we would spend just like an hour or so sitting there watching the fountain, and not the fountain, like the waterfall thing, and it was just beautiful. And like the whole airport in general, guys, there was so much to do there. Like, you can walk up on the see-through bridge, there's like gardens everywhere, like there's so much to do. We actually spent our whole last day at the airport before we left, and like there was like a really fast early check-in, and so we did our bags and everything went fine. But definitely go and see the Jewel. And the next one is the Sultan Mosque, and it was beautiful. We didn't get too close to it, just like respectfully. It was early in the morning that we went, and so there were people in the mosque, so we just sort of kept to the outside, and it was absolutely beautiful to see. But I do recommend going in the morning, because I know that one can get quite busy. But we were lucky at around like, I think it was like 7:45, 8 a.m. that we ended up being there, and there was no one really around, so we got that kind of to ourselves. Next is seeing like the different cultural towns, like Chinatown, Little India. They were really just cool to see the different cultures within Singapore. It's just such like a mixed nation. It was really beautiful. Next is, of course, the ones you've definitely heard about, but Gardens by the Bay, doing the cloud dome, the flower dome, sorry, the cloud forest and the flower dome. They were so much fun, and just like that Gardens by the Bay and Marina Sands area, you have to go. Like, I think we just spent the whole day there, just like walking around and just being in awe, and I just felt such so abundant and so beautiful and just safe, and it just felt amazing. So we spent all day there walking around, trying different restaurants and seeing all the touristy things as well. My next is this one, I'm gonna say specifically if you have kids, is the Art Science Museum. We went, just John and I, and we did have a good time, but I wouldn't be going there again. Like, I wouldn't be rushing to do it again. And we did pay obviously for our ticket, but it's just not something that I was like, oh my god, everyone has to do this. Like, it's definitely more a kid thing. But yeah, we did enjoy our time, but something that I would skip if you were going just like as a couple. Next is the night safari. We had so much fun there. Like, it was genuinely just because it's so different. Like, usually you go to a zoo in the day and there's the animals, and sometimes they're asleep and everything. When we went to the night safari, a lot of the animals were awake and doing their thing. It makes so much sense, like, if they're nocturnal animals, for them to be up and going at night. So we went on like this little tram ride that takes you all around the zoo, and like the animals are like following you, like you're right there. Like, it was such a cool experience. And we booked a lot of our things for Singapore on Klook, and I do have a discount code for Klook that I can leave for you guys down below in my description. But yeah, we used Klook for majority of the attractions that we went to, and they are super easy and reliable. So if you are interested in getting a discount, check out the link down below. My next one, if you're interested in shopping, is Orchard Road. It was really cool to just see all the different shops, but it got quite repetitive. It was just like kind of the same shops along the road anyway, and I probably wouldn't go again, but it was good to see. It's just, if you're really interested in shopping, I would definitely check out Orchard Road. Next is the Old Hill Police Station, which is like the rainbow building that you guys have probably seen. Again, just a cool thing to see. Even like there's like the Clark, I think it's called Clark Quay in that area as well. I think specifically at night time that area would be amazing. We kind of went around lunch-ish, I think it was, and everything was kind of like shut. We didn't really get to see that much of that area, but we did go and check out the police station, and it was really cool just to grab some photos and see. And my last for things to do is the Super Tree Grove. We chose to do it at night, which I highly recommend. It was beautiful at night. So it's actually a bridge suspended between all of those amazing like famous super tree groves that you guys see with the lights on them. So it's like a bridge that actually walks you up at the top of them, and you have an amazing view of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. And just like, it was so beautiful at night with all the lights and everything, and it was definitely a highlight of our trip. And then also going up the top of Marina Bay Sands Hotel as well was an awesome experience. And then we're on to my final category, which is just tip. One thing about a SIM card, I think now if I was to go, I might get an eSIM depending on the price of it. But when we were there, when you first walked out of the terminal, like when you landed, there was shops there selling SIM cards, and they were just like overly priced. And so we went to the like information desk and asked, where can I get like the cheapest eSIM, not eSIM, sorry, just cheapest SIM card? And they recommended the Cheers outlet. So we went there, and it was like $12 for like 50 gigs or something like that, and it was so much better price than the other place. So we were happy with that. So just keep an eye out what you're paying for SIM card. My next one is breakfast. Typically the restaurants in Singapore don't open until like 9-10 a.m. So for me, like as an Australian, our culture is to like, we're having breakfast at like 6-7 a.m 8 a.m. If you're like that, just be mindful of restaurants not opening until around that 9-10 a.m. But you can go to like the hawker centers I've heard are open. If your hotel has a breakfast, maybe a Starbucks or something like that, if you're like really desperate. And then transport, all you need to know is the MRTs, and all you need to have is Google Maps. We used our Wise card, so we had a Wise card for all of our traveling, and we just tapped on and tapped off with our Wise card. Or we have our bank card here in Australia, which we use our ING card, which we get no international fees on, and we just use that as well for the, I'm just trying to remember, there was one card now that I remember that one of them didn't work, and I think it was our Wise card for the trains, and we ended up just using our ING cards. But that could be different now, so just do your research on that. There's a lot of Facebook groups that help you with that information as well. But we, yeah, just used our like bank card, whatever we were using, and we were fine. And the MRTs are incredibly cheap. If you follow Google Maps for where you're going, it tells you everything. It tells you what lane you need to be in, what exit's best to take to get to wherever you want to go. So easy. So that is my recommendations for Singapore. Things to do, things to eat, little tips about what to do, and I hope you guys have the best trip. I love Singapore, and I can't wait to go again in the future. If any of this is helpful, let me know. Again, I do have my Klook discount code in the description if you guys want to book anything through that, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.